Okay, thank you so much. Welcome. I wanted to just welcome you to this wonderful college information session. You guys are going to get a lot of information today, and we are going to go through basically information that you need to have for a successful college admissions process for your child. Basically, this is a college informational session that is in the comfort of your own home. So you're going to learn some valuable insight, information, and paths that you can take. Also, preventative measures to help save you money. And you don't have to do this in an auditorium or in a high school gym, okay, which we all know how lovely those can be. So we're going to go over how to go from panic to prepared, right? Because I know many of you, right, are just kind of stressing out. How am I going to afford college? How is this going to all work? What all do I need to do, right? So it can kind of be pretty stressful, right? It can be a lot of panic involved, a lot of anxiety. Also, you're going to discover how you can easily save 50 to 80% on college costs, and you're going to learn about how we simplify the process, okay? So who is this information session for? So if you are a parent of any high school student in grades 9 through 12, this is for you. Also, if you're an adult looking to change careers, maybe you want to go back to college, you are not happy in your current position, this is also a great chance for you to kind of look through our services and what we offer. And so just go ahead and be sure to stay until the end. Also, we'll be doing a special bonus. So just go ahead and stay until the end. Make sure that you are here for that because you don't want to miss it. So let's go ahead and get started. I have this titled The Boring Introduction. I don't want to bore you guys too long. I just basically want to go over why I am qualified, right, to be talking to you about this information. So my name is Ashley Jordan. I am a veteran teacher. I am also the owner of My Education Connections, which offers college and consulting, college assessments and consulting in partnership with College Choice Today. So College Choice Today is an online, easily accessible platform for college coaching as well as assessment services to align student interests and aptitudes with their best choice for college major and career. They also provide links to financial aid and one-to-one personalized college coaching. Okay, so let's get down to the information that you need to know, starting with academics. Okay, so academic rigor is very important. So these are the difficulty, the challenging coursework that students need to take. So finding areas of interest is very important. Usually this involves a process of trial and error, seeing what they like, seeing what they don't like. Now, oftentimes, right, these rigorous coursework fall into the categories of honors and AP. Okay, so please make sure that if the child has a specific interest in a certain subject matter, that they're taking an honors or an AP class whenever possible. So performance grades are extremely important. Okay, a lot of times people think, okay, so my child is taking rigorous coursework, they're making sure that they're taking all these AP classes, but their grades aren't the best. That's okay, right? Absolutely not. Okay, grades are important. All right. Now, obviously, if they got a B, right, that's not the end all be all, okay, of the world, right? We're talking about if they got a D or they got a C. That's probably not going to reflect great, right, on an application when it's very competitive. Okay, so depending on that college that they want to go to. So it's just important that they're performing well in the classes that they are taking, in all of their classes. So not just the honors and AP, but in all of it. So admissions officers tend to look at metrics. Okay, so metrics include things like grades, their academic rigor, so the coursework, making sure that it's challenging, and then also test scores. Now, a lot of people have an issue with the fact that college admissions tend to be based on one or two factors. Okay, now, yes, that is unfair in many ways because the student could be having an off day, they're taking this 5-hour test, it's awful, it's very stressing, and maybe they have test anxiety. I mean, there's a lot of different things involved in this, but it is important what you can control, their grades and the coursework that they're taking. Okay, really try to do well in all of their courses and really aim for a 3.0 or higher in all of their coursework. So again, 3.0, very important. This is a B average. Now, there's a difference between weighted and unweighted, and this does vary depending on the high school and the state that you're in. So it's really important whether you go to a private or a public, they may not have weighted or unweighted. In private schools that you're attending, or also the state may have different weights. So in Nevada, for example, which is where I'm located, we have honors classes which are 2.5 or 0.2.5, and then we have AP, which are 0.5. So what that means is if you were to get an A, unweighted in a class would be a 4.0. If you were to get an A in an honors class, you would have a 4.25, or if you were to have an A in an AP class, it would be a 4.5. Okay, so it basically, for that particular class, it's just weighting it, so it's a little bit higher. Okay, now the highest GPA that you can get even with weighted is a 4.8 GPA. Okay, so that's all the classes put together. All right, so that's all of them added all up. So that's honors and AP. So there's only a certain amount of AP classes that you can actually take before it really doesn't even affect your GPA anymore. Okay. So again, that's all important to look at for your particular high school and for your particular state, because they do differ. Okay, so again, just kind of I'm trying to make you aware of that. So this is one thing that you can kind of do a little bit of research on. Preparation. So it's really important to start preparing as soon as possible. Okay, freshman year is not too soon to start preparing for the SAT or the ACT. Sorry. It's very important to have a plan, to know the requirements for the particular school that you want to go to. So this actually happened a while back before I got into this or teaching, and actually this is one of the reasons why I decided to get into college coaching, is because my brother wanted to attend an out-of-state college, and he was not aware of the fact that he had different requirements for his graduation than what they had to actually get into the college. And so it was unfortunate because he wasn't able to attend because he wasn't able to take the classes. And so you don't want to put yourself or your child in that position where they do really well, they get a great SAT score, they do great on all of their grades, they're in these extracurriculars, they're doing all this great stuff, and their dream school, they would qualify for it. However, they're missing one or two classes and they're unable to take them because perhaps the college doesn't take, online classes, or the online classes that they do take are not available right now. And so it's just really one of those things where you just want to make sure you do your research and you're prepared. So do your homework, right, as a teacher. That's what I tell my kids. So it's what I'm going to impress upon you and your child as well, is just to make sure you do your research on the particular schools that they're interested in. Also, please be sure to assure that any school that you want to go to is regionally accredited. Okay, this is really important because that's really the worth of the degree. So you don't want to pay a bunch of money for a school that's not regionally accredited. So this is the way that it's actually recognized as, being a college that is going through specific requirements, rigor, etc. So any school, any reputable school, if you scroll all the way down, they'll have accreditation, a link for accreditation on their homepage. And you should be able to click on that and see what they're actually accredited through. And so there's regional accrediting agencies that they need to be through depending on where they're located. Okay. So specialization. There are some myths that are really kind of floating around that are really distressing in a way, and they put a lot of undue pressure on students and families. So there's this idea that the 16 or 17-year-old child needs to be perfect at all things at all times, right? And it's just not realistic, right? Every person has strengths and weaknesses, and so not everybody can do 5 different sports, play an instrument, be in after school clubs, take all AP classes, get straight A's, oh yeah, and they work a part-time job, right? I mean, it's just unreasonable. There's a lot of pressure that's put on the student to really be able to do all of that. And so finding some specialties that the student is really interested in, and again, that trial and error process is really important because it can really help them. And that's, colleges are looking for students that excel in a specific area, right? Are they really, really good at science or engineering? Are they really good at a sport? This is ways to get scholarships. So it's really important to make sure that we don't want to pigeonhole anybody. That's not the goal here, but just finding a few things, right? 2 or 3 to really help to specialize and to pinpoint. And so when these specialized areas are coupled with metrics like academic rigor and the performance in those classes, their grades, right, as well as their test scores, this is something that admissions officers look for, right? So maybe it's playing a fall sport and a spring sport, so they're at different times, and then also being in an after-school club, right? That's reasonable, okay? Also, if they play an instrument, so they play a fall and spring sport, one instrument, and then potentially they are in a club after school, right? That's not completely unreasonable, but it's not also expecting them to do everything at all times, right? It's just kind of ridiculous, okay? And some students, they may not like playing an instrument, but they like sports. That's okay, right? They don't have to do all things. So it's just important to find what they like to do and then have them, find their passion, and get them in that and have them do that so that they're able to do something that they enjoy. Presentation is also very important, and there's sort of this trend on some applications where in parentheses on the side, the short answer and essay portions are optional, right? And so I know you can't see me, but I'm doing air quotes right now for optional because they are never optional. They always, always, always need to be completed because this is a great way to showcase the student's strengths in their writing, how they present themselves, and also to really connect with the admissions officer, to share a personal story, and to really, so they can actually connect with the student right after they've looked at those metrics. Because unfortunately, right, colleges across the country, they experience budget cuts, right? They experience low staff, and these, college admissions officers are having to look at hundreds of applications every single day. And so they tend to look at metrics first. So if your student has met and they have great metrics, but then they don't do the essay and they don't do the short answers and there's no way for them to really connect, if there's another student that maybe did a little bit better on some other stuff, hey, especially if it's highly competitive. So it's just important that they complete that so that they give themselves the best possible chance to get into the school. Okay. All right, financial aid, FAFSA, very important. This is federal student aid, very important that you apply for this. So make sure that you look up all of the requirements because there is a threshold for income requirements. So it's very important that you do fill this out to see what you're eligible for. Also, start applying for scholarships, okay? So just like there's eligibility requirements for FAFSA, right, there are some eligibility requirements for scholarships in the sense that there could be grade level, age level, particular major, could also be based on, religion, there could be ethnicity. There's a bunch of different scholarships out there. And so you want to look at the eligibility requirements, right? And you want to start as soon as possible, okay? You don't want to wait because there are scholarships out there that freshmen can apply for. There's not a lot, okay? The majority of scholarships that you're going to see are going to be for 11th and 12th grade. There's a few, probably a good number for sophomores, but there are some for freshmen as well. And so you really don't want to wait until junior year, right? That's kind of the misconception is everything's like junior year. So you're basically throwing everything at them when they're taking probably the hardest coursework that they're going to have throughout high school, right? Sophomore, junior year are always really tough. And so they're taking all these courses, they're in an after-school activity, and then all of a sudden now they have to start studying for their SAT, start applying for all these scholarships, looking up the scholarship. I mean, it's crazy because you can go on to 5, 6, 7 different sites, have to sign up, have to look through, filter all of the different scholarships out. So it can be pretty overwhelming. And so just throw all of that onto them junior year, right? They have maybe a year and a half or so to get all of this together. It can be pretty overwhelming and a really undue burden on them at that time. So starting earlier and trying to get scholarships as you go throughout high school is a lot better. So again, it's important to look at the eligibility requirements and just make sure that the student meets those requirements. So if it's only for 11th and 12th graders, you obviously don't want to waste the time having your child apply for it as a freshman or sophomore, right? But there are some out there that freshmen and sophomore can apply for. So again, do not wait. Start looking now. It'll really help in the long run. So just kind of sharing some statistics with you that, I found really distressing and unfortunate, in some of these cases is 80% of college freshmen enter as undeclared. And so because of this, the average student takes 6 years to graduate college, not the traditional 4 that we once thought. The average student leaves college with about $30,000 of student loan debt. That's, staggering when you think about it. The average student pays about $600 per semester for books. That's not all of college, right? That's per semester. So that's quite a hefty bill. The average yearly tuition for a public 4-year university is over $9,000. Okay, that's for public university. So, return on investment. This is a really important concept that not many people talk about in terms of college. And so I want to discuss why this is relevant to you and to your child. So return on investment when we're talking about college, or ROI, is really about determining and making informed decisions about what your child wants to do to really inform where they want to go to school and what they want to major in. So for example, I knew that I wanted to be a teacher, okay? I love teaching, right? Teaching is my passion. I enjoy it. It's something that I absolutely love. However, I knew going into teaching that I just wasn't going to make a lot of money, right? And that's not a complaint. I love my job. I get a lot of time off. There's a lot of benefits to being a teacher. It's really great. And I love it. So, with that being said, I knew that going to a private university that potentially costs $20,000, $25,000 a year was just not going to be a reasonable investment for me, right? I'm not going to get a great return on that because I'm probably going to have to take out a lot of loans. I'm going to have to pay back those loans, and I'm going to have a lot of debt for quite a while to do that. When I realized that going to the local university in my state, I qualified for a scholarship. My parents, who are wonderful, helped me pay for it. I helped out with books, and I was also able to live at home, so I saved costs that way. Now, again, that's not for everybody, but there are ways that you can cut down costs based on that mentality, right? If you look at what your child wants to do, where do they need to go to school? Because for teaching, for example, there's no thing on salary schedules that says if you graduated from Harvard or Columbia or another Ivy League, right? Ivy League graduates, you make an extra $5,000 a year. It just says 4-year degree. Okay? So whether that 4-year degree is from Harvard or it's from UNLV, right? It's still a 4-year degree, and so that's how much you're making. So it's just important to understand that based on their career, right, we need to make an informed decision on where they can attend. Now, I'm not saying this, that Ivy League schools are bad in any way. That's absolutely the furthest thing from it. They're a great investment depending on what your child wants to do. So if it's something that you can afford, it's something that they get financial aid for, whatever it may be, and they want to go and be a lawyer, going to Harvard is wonderful because let's think about this, right? The network, the connections, the people that they're going to meet are really going to help them in their career. And they're going to be able to get a great job, a successful job where they make a lot of money, okay? Now, I love my job. I would consider myself to be successful in the sense that I found happiness, something that I really enjoy. And that's great for me. Some people, they want to be a lawyer. That's where they find that's where their passion is. That's wonderful. And they know they're going to make much more money. And so going to Harvard is not unreasonable for them because they can pay that back, right? That's reasonable. That's what we're talking about as an investment. So we want a return on that investment. Okay, what's the best return on the investment? And the informed decision that needs to be made is based on that career. Okay, so because that is what college is. It's an investment, and the return on that is the job that you get that pays you money. Okay, so what kind of money are you going to make from the job that you want to do? Right? Because we all want our child to be happy, but we also want them to not be crushed with the burden of debt because they went to a school that they really didn't need to go to because they wanted to be a teacher or they wanted to be a nurse, for example, okay? So there are nursing programs in every state that you go into. You don't necessarily have to go off to college and, pay for room and board and pay for these extra fees to be a nurse, unless that's something that you absolutely want for them or that's something that they want or there's a particular school that they want to go and specialize in. That's wonderful. But again, you have to look at other options because there are other options out there. And so this is a way that you can save money. And you get a better return on your investment if you know what you wanted to do going into it. So this is actually an interesting poll because a lot of people there's sort of this misconception that okay, well if they go to an Ivy League, they're guaranteed like they're just gonna have a wonderful successful career. And you know what? A lot of people that go to these Ivy League schools, absolutely that's great. But just kind of to keep your mind open a little bit, is that 84% in this Gallup poll of employers indicated that the amount of knowledge that a candidate has in the particular field in which they're applying for is most important, versus only 9% viewing where the candidate earned their degree as most important. Now, obviously, there were other employers who viewed other factors to be important, but these were the two that I think were extremely valuable. The vast majority of employers think the amount of knowledge is important, right? Versus potentially where they got their degree. So this is important to think about, and this can really help, again, to inform your child on where they want to go to school based on, right, what they want to do. So student loans, my advice is whenever possible, avoid them at all costs. Now, I know this is not always possible, right? People take out loans all the time. You take out a loan to get a home, right, a mortgage, because you can't pay for the full cost, just like you potentially can't afford the full cost of college all at once. So again, I understand it's not always possible. In an ideal world, you could avoid them altogether, but just avoid them when possible. We don't want to just go in and start taking out a bunch of loans and just like, oh, this is what you do. That's not the case, and that's really not something that you want to do. That's the last resort, okay? Because these loans usually result in very high payments, upwards of $300 a month on an average $30,000 principal. Okay, so usually you can tend to get pretty high interest because it compounds. So it may seem low, but it's not all that great. So for example, on an average $30,000 loan that the average student will leave college with at a 6.8 interest rate, over the 10 years that they pay it back, so that's 120 payments, they're going to pay a little over $11,000 in interest. So they're actually paying over $41,000, not the 30. So that's a lot of money, okay? So finishing in 4 years is one way that you can help to avoid those higher costs and the higher debt. Also, you can help get a better return on the investment. So like we discussed, the majority of students are not graduating in 4 years. They're actually taking 6. So if you take the normal public university, which is about $9,000 per year, you go an extra 2 years, you tack on book fees to that, right? You're talking almost $20,000 extra for those 2 years, okay? It's a lot more money, right? So again, going back to that return on your investment, you get a better return on your investment if you can finish in 4 years. So finishing in 4 years, how is this possible? It's very important that you get a plan before college starts, okay? It's important, all right, that they understand what they want to do based on their interests and aptitudes. So the trial and error process, figuring out what they like, okay? This idea that not having a major and going into college undeclared is fine is a luxury that many people cannot afford, okay? If you can afford it, that's wonderful, that's fantastic, that's great, wonderful, okay? It's just not something that many people can afford, right? I mean, they need to know what they want to do. We want them to be happy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can just, kind of, okay, I'm just going to take whatever. Now, obviously, there are general education courses that everybody has to take. But while you're taking those, you're also taking classes that are feeding into those degree requirements, okay? So it's important we understand that. If we are taking a bunch of humanities classes and art classes, those aren't feeding into our engineering classes that we could have been taking, okay? Yes, you get electives, but oftentimes degrees, they require that you take certain electives within that field as well. So some of those electives are kind of eaten up with that. So you could potentially be taking classes that aren't really contributing to your degree, okay? And this happens all the time. So it's very important that you know what you want to do from the get-go, right? From before you start college. So determining those interests and aptitudes are crucial. Choosing a major based on the career interest so that you can actually get a job because you have the knowledge base in that particular career field. Also, being prepared for the coursework, saving on cost whenever possible, okay? Take a full semester, right, to finish in 4. This is, the minimum of a full semester is usually 12 credits, depending on the college that you're at. And this is for semester, so it's different for quarters. But for a semester, 12 credits, right? You're going to have to take classes in the summer if you want to actually graduate in 4 years. 15 credits, you usually have to go about one summer because credit requirements for degrees usually vary anywhere from about 124, anywhere upwards of 130. So it really just depends on the degree, okay? So you have to look at that. Also, another thing that's extremely important to make sure that you actually do finish in 4 years is to double check that the classes that you're taking, that you're being put in by an academic advisor, or the classes that you're choosing meet the requirements of the degree plan in which you are going for, okay? This has happened to people that I know, and this almost happened to me. College counselors, they're busy people. They have a lot of students that they're working with, right? They have a lot on their plate, a lot to remember, a lot of different plans to go through. They make mistakes because they're human, just like everybody else. So we can't rely on everything they say as being 150% accurate, right? It's always crucial to double check, even triple check to make sure, does this class meet it? And always ask questions, right? Say, this doesn't seem right. Is this right to you? Ask for a second opinion too, right? Don't be afraid to hurt somebody's feelings, because if you don't think something's right or something doesn't look right and they're like, oh no, that's fine, and they don't even look at it, ask for somebody else to look at it, because that's what happened with me. If I hadn't questioned them and got it fixed, I would have actually put me a semester behind for graduating. So it's really important, because sometimes, universities with budget cuts, right, they'll only offer a certain class every other semester. So if it's not something that if it's only offered in the fall and you don't catch it until the fall, right, you can't take it until the next fall, okay? And that can be kind of ridiculous, right? Because you're basically, your life's on hold, okay, because of the simple mistake. So it's really just important to make sure that you double check that the classes that you're taking meet the requirements of the degree that you're trying to get, okay? Get a plan as well. Take those 15 credits every semester. You may need to go in the summer, so it's just really important that you do that, okay? So I know I've talked really fast, right? I know I'm exhausted from that, but I'm sure you're exhausted basically on everything you have to do. I'm sure your head is spinning right now. You're thinking FAFSA and financial aid, and I have to, apply for all these different, websites so I can go on and find these scholarships, and, I need to make sure I'm talking about my kid about what classes they're taking, and oh my gosh, we have to start studying for the SAT, and oh my gosh, we have to start preparing, and oh, this is, it's exhausting, right? And weighted versus unweighted, and I don't even know what she's talking about. It's a lot, okay? And so you have to remember that that's just the beginning, right? They need to attend school, they have to graduate school, then they have to get a job, right? And so these are all things that are just kind of leading into the ultimate goal, right? And there is so much that must be accomplished, right? And unfortunately, right, the process is extremely complicated. It's very expensive. Even just applying to a school, the average application can be anywhere between $25 and $40, sometimes even more than that, for just an application. So if you fill out 2 or 3 applications, you could potentially be talking about $100 just for applications, okay? It's also really overwhelming for families, for students, for parents. Frustrating. And there is a severe lack of resources and assistance available for students and families to look at and to refer to, okay? So what if there was a better way, right? What if there was a way that was easier and it simplified the process, okay? Would that be something that interests you? So if there was a way that students could finish in 4 years, that they had a clear plan and focus, they knew what they wanted to do for college, major, and their career, they had insight, knowledge to make the decisions, to make informed decisions, right, to get their best ROI, and they had access to resources and information, okay? So the college solution, the personalized pathway to success, is basically a better way that is used to simplify the entire process. So we save countless hours of research, save money, you save time while they're in school. So basically the idea that, if the average student is actually taking 6 years, we break that down to 4. So we're saving time and we're saving money. We're using patented technology, scientific assessments, and experienced advanced degreed professional coaches to really take the guesswork out of college, right? So to get the help and the answers that they need. So imagine that your child knows what they want to major in, right, before they get to college. They know what college they want to attend. They have a plan and a clear budget. They know what career they want to go into because they had access to the resources and to the insight to make those decisions. And they're actually able to get a job they enjoy that has a great return on that investment, right? What you invested in college, they're getting a great return based on the career choice that they made. Okay, would that be something that interested you? So why would you want to leave, right, the crucial decisions to chance? Okay, the crucial decisions involving their major and their career and their college, right? It's something that can really impact their future, right, for the rest of their lives. And so you don't have to leave them to chance, right? We offer patented technology and scientific assessments that is easily accessible online. The assessment is easy to take. It's about 30 minutes, okay? It's all online. Students receive a personal college coach. These are advanced degreed professionals, okay, that have experience. There's the assessment results are given to them. They have unlimited access to the resources like financial aid, links to financial aid, tips and advice from their college coaches, and they get alignment of their interests and aptitudes to their best choices for college, major, and career, and they get detailed information on all of the careers that they can explore to make the best and most informed decision. Students that use our service save money. Okay, they save 50 to 80% on college costs because they have a plan, because we look at the career and the ROI, we find the best fit, and we alleviate the stress and frustration. So we take all of this, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm so overwhelmed, right? And we simplify the process, saving time and, of course, money. And just, just maybe your sanity, right? Because again, it's overwhelming. So even if this just saved one semester of tuition, fees, and textbooks, right, would it be worth it? Okay, if we think about this. Remember we talked about just one semester of a public four-year university would be about $4,500. If we add on books for that, which are about $600 a semester, we're talking over $5,000 just for one semester, okay? So imagine that they had access to all of the information, resources, they knew, okay, what they were going to do, that you knew that that their college education was affordable and accessible, right? Because let's say that you have more than one child and you're thinking to yourself, how am I going to get 2, 3 children through college in this atmosphere, right? In this complicated, crazy process. But it's affordable and accessible, okay? It is. There is a better way. And so imagine, again, not having to worry so much about that, not having to worry about how you're going to provide your child with this opportunity. So it would be a relief, right? You would be saving money and you would be relieved, okay? So what I would like you to do is after this webinar, there's a link, right, to actually check out a video, okay, that actually goes through the assessment example. And I would absolutely encourage you to do that because it actually goes through detailed information about what you get. So please be sure to look at that if you have any questions or concerns. And you can always contact me directly. My contact information will be on the bottom of the webpage that this is on, as well as at the end of the webinar. So how much would all of this be worth to you, right? So even if you just saved one semester of college, right, what would that be worth, right? We've been talking about return on our investment, right? So what would be a reasonable investment, right, if you could potentially save thousands of dollars in the future? Because ultimately what we need to understand is this is preventative, right? So it's like that insurance, the insurance on the rental cars that you go and get. You don't want to have the upfront cost, but it's kind of like, oh man, you kind of think if something were to happen, right, that could potentially be a lot of money. And this is kind of a similar thing in the sense that, but it's a little more certain, right? Because we know this is how expensive college is, and we know, right, that there are going to be fees and there's going to be textbooks. We know that, it's going to cost money for them to buy a book to go to school. And so if they're talking about higher education, if we're going to college, we know there's going to be costs associated with that. And so this is preventative to prevent them from going those extra 2 years, from spending all the extra money, from having to take out all of these loans and having that crushing debt. Okay, I mean, $300 over, right, per month is a lot. I can think of a lot of better things to do with that, right? So even if it just saved them, right, those payments every single month after they got done, right, what would that be worth to you, right? $1,000, $500, $300, right? What would it be worth to you? Okay, so imagine this, right? You get less than half of one semester of textbooks, right? So half of a semester of textbooks is $300, okay? So it's less than that, right? Everything is included for one time, right? A one-time flat rate of only $295. Now there are payment options available as well, so I'll talk about those a little bit later, but one time flat rate. You get access to all of the resources, you get access to college coaching, right? We even help with after college with advice on resumes and interview tips, things of that nature, so that they can actually get a job, right? There's a bunch of resources that they have access to for that as well. So this is something that it takes them through the entire process. It helps you, it alleviates the stress, the panic, the anxiety. It makes college affordable and accessible, and we're saving money. Even if it just saved one semester, right, of textbooks, it pays for itself, right? It more than doubles, okay, paying for itself. So not even, right, or I mean, you kind of think about that's a really good deal in that sense, right? And you can imagine, right, not having the stress, not having the anxiety, knowing that they're actually going to have a plan, that they know what they want to do, they're going to be able to finish within a reasonable amount of time, they're not going to have the crushing debt, right? That's just the relief there, right? The peace of mind, okay, is worth it. But if you purchase within the next 36 hours, okay, at that extremely low price, you'll also get my new ebook, okay, from Panic to Prepared, which kind of goes through what we've talked about in here, gives a little more insight, a little more depth. Also, an application essay and informative advice PDF, so how to really get the essay kind of in tip-top shape and some different advice, and there's an awesome PDF for that. Also, information on how to maximize their SAT score. There's a great PDF on that as well. Also, you will get access to my Facebook group on getting informed about college. So this is a great group that you can join. There's other parents of high school students. We can have discussions. I always post informative articles. I post different PDFs just to kind of help you along the way, to give you advice, totally free for you to have access to. And so all of this, in addition to the complete service, okay, where you get the college coach, right? You get the access to the assessment, which gives you 20 careers that the student is matched with. It gives you detailed information on all of those careers. It gives you information on majors. It gives you information to links to financial aid, advice, tips. You get access to a personalized college coach, okay? All of that. And you get all of this for free for a one-time flat rate of $295. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Okay, the retail suggested value of this is $495 just for the service. We're offering it for $295, and you get all of these free extra bonuses. Okay, so the special kind of bonuses. This is what is awesome because it kind of just adds to the value that you're already getting. Okay, also a complete 100% money back guarantee. Absolutely 100%. So there's no risk to you for ordering today. If at any time, right, I don't do 30 days, okay? If at any time you are not completely satisfied with the program, I will refund 100% of your purchase. I do not want you to at all feel like you're not satisfied, that there's not value in this, right? If you take the program and you see that there's no value, you don't see that you're going to save any money, you don't see that this was insightful, or this was something that really informed any decisions, absolutely, I will give you your money back. No questions asked. So there's no reason, right, for you not to invest today. Ultimately, I do this to help families and to help students. I want to help people to access college and to make it affordable, and for families to not have to worry so much about it. Because as a teacher, I see how much they worry about it. And so this is really something that gets to the heart of it. It makes it easy. It simplifies it. And there's so much value in it. And so I know that you will see the value, and that's why I do this. I'm not doing 30 days. I'm not doing 60 days. I'm not doing even 90 days. If at any time you go through this and you're like, this was this didn't work for us or this was not valuable, I will give you your money back. Absolutely 100%. So you have nothing to lose, okay? Except, maybe the stress, the panic and anxiety, okay, about college planning. So again, really, 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 really important. I will honor money back guarantee. There's no risk at all to you. Nothing. You have nothing to lose, right? At all. Okay? It's a fantastic program that you will see immense value in. And I really, really encourage you to take advantage of the offer because you do get a lot of extras. And also with the money back guarantee, you can keep the extra stuff and you'll still get access to the assessment and the service. It's not like we can take that back. So you will still get that if you don't see the value in it, right? If you're like, I don't see the value in this, this just isn't working, I will give you your money back. You can still have access to the PDFs, the resources, whatever. So just know that. So I would encourage you to, again, order now because within the next 36 hours, the offer for the extras are going to go away, and the price will potentially go up. So it's really important that you order as soon as possible. So there's a link below the webinar on this page. You'll be able to access our secure web portal so that you can order online, and then you'll get immediate access to all of the bonuses as well as the link to sign up for the Facebook group. So in addition to it already being, affordable, because that's what we're about, right? It's pretty crazy actually the number of people that that do college coaching and how much they charge. I mean, some people are charging upwards of $200 an hour for college coaching. I've seen different, you can go online and do some research, $500 up to $1,800 for a service. So this is really something that is affordable, right? It's not an entire, semester's worth of college to kind of get on the right track, right? So it's something that's affordable. It's less than half a semester of textbooks, right? But in addition to that, I also wanted to make sure that there was no reason that, people couldn't buy in, because I really think this is extremely important. If you have a student or you yourself, right, want to go change careers and you really just don't know really what you want to do and you want to find your best fit, and of course you want to find your best fit for your child, getting them on the right track, then there are actually two different payment options. So one is a 2-payment option of $159, so you do 2 payments of $159. There's also a 5-payment option that is going to be very limited time. I'm not going to do this for very long, but there's a 5-payment option of only $67. So you're paying a little bit more in the long run. So to save money, it's great to do the 1-payment option or even the 2-payment option because you do save a little bit of money. But for the 5-payment option, it's only $67. So you do 5 payments. So you do 1 payment today, and then you would have 4 more payments of $67. So it's, completely affordable. I mean, $67 is, if you're a family of 4 and you go out for, a nice dinner, that's that's the cost of that, right? Probably even more than that with a family of 4. So think about, right, just having to do that for 5 months, basically, not going out to one dinner. And that could potentially save you thousands, okay? So it's really something. I mean, honestly, people sometimes they spend $12 to $15 on coffee per week. So that's about the same cost as if you spent, $15 or so on coffee a week, right, for the month, $67. So it's just one of those things where it's super, super affordable. I'm trying to make it as affordable as possible because I really do want to help. Now, if you have any questions, you're like, hey, I'm really kind of unsure about this, or I couldn't, get the video, or whatever it was, right? Can you walk me through this, or what have you? Please contact me directly with any questions. My email is right here, and then also you can contact me directly via phone. So please, 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 again, contact me with any questions. I encourage you to order now. Like I said, the link will be on this webpage, so you can go ahead and click on that and access, again, you can access the payment options. And then you'll also be able to, if you order within the next 36 hours, you will be able to get the bonuses. So please make sure that you take advantage of that. All right, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. I hope you found this insightful and helpful. And I really, really look forward to working with you, helping you. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.